All right, let's find and identify the compass bearing and the true bearing for this diagram right here. We're looking for the bearing of A from O. Let's take a closer look at the diagram here. We have a sweeping angle from north all the way around here, 220 degrees to the position A from O. Now let's work with compass bearing first for the first part. Now compass bearing involves 4 quadrants. So let's have a look at this compass here. So we got the regular north, south, east and west, but when you want to work with compass bearing, take note that we have 4 quadrants. Up here we have the northeast quadrant, southeast quadrant, southwest, and up here northwest quadrant. You may notice that the vertical north-south always comes first. It's always north before east, south before east, south before west, and north before west. Now, what quadrant do you believe that this particular guy is in? It's in this quadrant here. What comes first? It's the south. South comes first. South, something, west. So we're looking at this quadrant right here for the compass bearing. So let's go ahead and work this out. So for compass bearing, the first thing we want to do is work out the angle from the south position right here. So we're interested in this angle in here, not from the west down here, but this angle through here. So let me just mark it out. It's always from the vertical south or north, but in this case we're in this quadrant. So it's south, an angle here, and that'll give us the compass bearing. So how do we work out this angle in here? Given that we have a sweeping angle from north, 220 degrees. Well, it's really quite easy. We know that a straight line, like if you have a straight line, the angle for a straight line is 180 degrees. So we know it's 180 to there. If we keep going along here, 220, and then we take away 180 from that, that'll give us the residual angle, what's left in there. So again, 220, take away 180, which is the straight line, leaves us with this angle in there, and that should give us the compass bearing. So let's work that out. All we have to do is subtract these two guys. So it's going to be 220, which is the whole angle, and we subtract the 180, which is the straight line. So that's going to give us 220 minus 180. That gives us 40. So the angle in here is 40 degrees in this quadrant. And it's south before west, isn't it? So we're in this quadrant here, south before west. So the compass bearing is south, leave the gap for the angle, west. Always do that first. And in here we put the angle. We have 40 degrees. So that slots right in there. 40 degrees right there. That angle always is from the vertical south across there. So that's our compass bearing. Let's move on to the true bearing. Now what's a true bearing? A true bearing is from north. It's the angle clockwise to this desired direction, which is along here at A from O. You'll notice that it already starts at north and it goes 220 degrees. So it looks like the bearing's already been given to us. So the true bearing is 220 degrees. (220 degrees clockwise). And for true bearing, you always add a T on the end, right, like that. And that's our true bearing. There you go. Hope that helps.